Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Kuramowian, and let's get to it. So this week I only went to one meetup, and like I said on the previous week, I'm cutting down the number of meetups that I go to. So at this point I really want to focus on my internship. I'm learning so much. Like this week alone I learned so many different topics, so many different concepts. I'm going to be showing you some later. I just want to focus on my internship, working on my personal projects so I can have them ready and hosted. So once I start applying for jobs in January, I'm good to go. So now let me show you the meetup that I went to. So I actually went to a MongoDB MCP focused meetup, and it was very exciting going there. It was a big crowd. There were a lot of talks. I met a lot of cool people, and it was very interesting to see like the different implementations of MCP. This is the thing about MCP. It's so new, it's so fresh that people are still figuring this out. So I always see like different approaches, so I'm always learning something new. And the other thing is I wanted to see my friend Amanda. She was part of the event. This is Amanda. She's amazing. And I just wanted to go there and support. So it was a very nice event. It was like 3 hours long, and it's always something new in the MCP world. And I think there's a new update in November, like next month. So I'm very looking forward to see what is going to be happening with MCP, because things again keep changing. Now let's talk about my internship. Again, I'm not going to show you the code, but my team lead Gregory, aka Kazi, was kind enough to let me show a wireframe of something that we were discussing for the feature that I'm working on. So as you can see, it's something related with video. So I'm having to download, I'm having to compress the videos, and I'm able to validate with Gemini something that we're working on. I'm not going to say specifically what it is, but we're doing something with Gemini for now. It can change in the future, but yeah, my feature, it focuses on video. So one of the things that I learned was, in my projects that I showed you before with Java, that I have the entities, and these entities create the tables for my Postgres database. Well, I just learned that that's called code first approach, and it's actually not the professional way of doing things. So I've noticed in my internship that one of the things that we have is a schema file with a bunch of SQL queries into it. And I asked my team lead, what's the purpose of this? And then I learned that it's not necessarily that we have all these entities for all the tables that we have on our database. These are actually were ran prior to even the entities being created, because he already knew how he wanted his tables to look like. So these are SQL commands that, yes, they are creating the tables that we have, but not necessarily entities that are coded within our code base. So I was like, oh, so I thought you had to do it with entities, and that's when I learned that for any serious project, the way that it's done is a schema first approach. That's the professional standard. So if you're doing like a small project, code first, meaning creating the entities, that's a good approach because it's a small project. But anything professional, it requires a schema, and usually is used with a folder. Now, another thing that I learned, I don't know if you guys were aware, the AWS outage. This caused havoc in the tech community. Our database Supabase uses AWS. So because of the connections with the Virginia server, I was having problems connecting to my database in order to test the feature that I'm working on. And then I bring this up. I'm told that, well, something that you should do as a software engineer is that if you ever have a platform, especially if it's your database, and there's an outage, whether it's the database or there's a service in place that is not working, instead of this stopping you, you should be able to work and test your feature and project locally. So Supabase is a cloud version of Postgres. That's the best way that I can explain it for those that don't know. So I started learning about Spring Boot profiles, which all it is that you can create multiple profiles that connect to different databases. So you can have one that is local for your local machine. You can have one for production. You can have one for your Supabase. Essentially, all you have to do is set up these profiles. And when you set them up, all you have to do is go right at the active profile and just change the name. So if you have one that is local, you would just switch local, and now everything redirects to your local machine. I didn't know this, so it was very cool to learn. And then I learned about a migration tool called Flyway. So essentially what you do is, if you're doing a schema first approach, you need to set it up by versions, like V1, V2, V3. So when you change from one database to the next, the Flyway tool, what it does is it takes all these versions and it moves everything from one place to the next. And some of the things that I've learned this week, yes, this is all I have for you guys. I hope you learned a thing or two from this, and see you in the next one. Peace.